Factor the quadratic trinomial x squared plus 6x plus 8. So the first step is to identify coefficients a, b, and c in ax squared plus bx plus c. So a is 1 because there's nothing in front of the x squared, b is 6, and c is 8. Okay? So the next step, step 2, is find two numbers, r and q, so their product is a times c and their sum is b. So you're looking for two numbers so that their product, or when you multiply them, you get ac, or 1 times 8, or 8, and their sum, or when you add them, you get b, or 6. Okay, so I'm not going to do the check and trial and error, but you can do that on your own. If you think about two numbers that multiply to 8 and add up to 6, so multiply to 8 and add up to 6 are 2 and 4. So r is 2, q and 4. Okay, so that's step 2. Step 3, if you remember, I'm going to start with what I was given, x squared plus 6x plus 8. I'm going to replace the middle 6x with 2x plus 4. Why 2 and 4? Because that's what I got in the previous step. Okay. The next step is I'm going to write the final product of the last step, x squared plus 2x plus 4, x plus 8, and then I'm going to consider each pair of terms, x squared plus 2x and 4x plus 8, and I'm going to factor out the greatest common factor from each. So x squared plus 2x, the common factor is x, 4x plus 8, the common factor is 4. What's left over here is x plus 2, and then what's left over here is x plus 2 as well, because 4x divided by 4 is x, 8 divided by 4 is 2. Okay. And then I want to make sure that the binomials inside the parentheses, x plus 2 is identical, and they are. You have x plus 2 here and x plus 2 here. Okay. The next step is I'm going to start with the previous two steps, and then I'm going to factor out this x plus 2. So x plus 2 in parentheses gets written first times whatever is left behind. I have an x here and a plus 4 here, so I get x plus 4, and you got to put it in the second set of parentheses. Okay, and then I'm going to state my final answer. X squared plus 6x plus 8 equals the quantity x plus 2 times the quantity x plus 4. All right, now you want to check your answer. So this is our final answer, and then step 7 is check our answer by factoring. So I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to write x plus 2 times x plus 4. I'm going to apply the first outer inner last pattern, multiply to get x squared plus 4x plus 2x plus 8, and combine like terms to get x squared plus 6x plus 8, which is what I got originally. So my answer checks. We're not going to be doing the checking on every problem we do, but at the beginning we will, just to get used to kind of make to build a little bit confidence with these. Okay, that's problem 2. So that checks, so your factoring is correct. Problem 3, you're asked to factor quadratic trinomial x squared plus 7x plus 12. So the first thing we're going to do is pick out a, b, and c. So step 1, a is 1, b is 7, c is 12. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to look for two numbers so that their product is a times c, or 12, right? A times c is 12, and their sum is b, or 7. Now, two numbers that multiply to 12 and add up to 7 are 4 and 3. So the two numbers are r equals 3 and q equals 4. You can put them in whatever order. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take x squared plus 7x plus 12 and write it as x squared plus 3x plus 4x. Why 3 and 4? Because that's my r and q, 3 and 4. Okay. The next thing, step 4, is I'm going to factor out the greatest common factor from each pairing. So x squared plus 3x, the common factor is x. So it's going to be x times x plus 3. That's what's left over if you divide out an x. Plus 4, and 4x divided by 4 is x, and I got x plus 3. And I'm just going to check to make sure the stuff inside the parentheses is the same, and it is. It's x plus 3 in each case. All right, step 5, I'm going to write out the results of the previous two steps, and I'm going to factor out the common binomial, the x plus 3. So x plus 3 gets factored out and written in parentheses, and then x and 4 gets written in parentheses and multiplied as well. And step 6, state my final answer. So x squared plus 7x plus 12 equals x plus 4 times x plus 3. Or x plus 3 times x plus 4. Actually, the order doesn't matter because it's multiplication, and multiplication is commutative. So the order in which you write your final factors doesn't matter. So you can interchange the groupings. Okay. All right, so I'm going to check my factoring by doing FOIL. And if you do FOIL, you do get x squared plus 12x plus 7x plus 12. So our factoring is correct. All right, we're going to try one more just to kind of, you see different examples, maybe slightly higher numbers, 2-digit numbers. So we're going to factor x squared plus 14x plus 45. The first step is to pick out a, b, and c. A is 1, b is 14, c is 45. So find two numbers so that their product is a times c, or 45, and their sum is b, or 14. Two numbers that multiply to 45 and add up to 14 are 5 and 9, or 9 and 5. So the next step is I'm going to write x squared plus 14x plus 45 as x squared plus 5x plus 9x plus 45. Then I'm going to factor out x from x squared plus 5x to get x times x plus 5, and then 9x plus 45 to get 9 times x plus 5. And x plus 5 is the same. I want to make sure whatever's left in parentheses is the same. And the next thing I'm going to do is factor out the x plus 5. So x plus 5 gets factored out, and what's left, or what goes in the second set of parentheses, is what's left behind, the x plus 9. So it's x plus 5, x squared plus 14x plus 45 is x plus 5 times x plus 9. Okay? And again, you can reverse them. You can write x plus 9 times x plus 5. And this is my final result, and then I'm going to check my math by performing FOIL. First outer, inner, last. Multiply, combine like terms, and I do get multiply, combine like terms, and I do get the same answer, so your factoring is correct. Okay, we're kind of gonna tread a little bit carefully with this, so I'm gonna give you 8 of this type of problems, but I do want you to show me all 7 steps, because I suspect some of you are using factoring calculators online, which, I mean, you can do that to check your work, but you have to be able how to factor by yourself. So I do want you to write all 7 steps out, just for me to make sure you're factoring it on your own. Graphing lines and factoring are the 2 things you're going to use the most from Algebra 1 in your other math classes. So we want to make sure we got those 2 skills down, okay? And we have a few classes left to learn factoring well. All right. So this is the regular the regular setup, the regular routine as our other assignments. All right. Have a wonderful day.